Well, if you want to join the church as bad as that, go on and join tomorrow. But I tell you, there are two kinds of Christians. There's the good kind and the bad kind. Now, if you're determined to join the church, go on and be a good one. And she said to me later, I've always thanked him because he told me that.
Mm-hmm. That too is a wonderful story.
Now, done it to school night, so you're up to say good night to everybody and run up to bed.
Say good night to the recorder.
That's the way you say good night, Heck? Good night, Dudley.
Good night, Dudley.
Good night.
Well, now we still want to get some more. Well, Barbara, tell me what you've been doing.
Same thing.
Same thing?
Same thing.
You haven't got mic fright, have you?
No, I haven't mic fright, but nothing I can say would be very interesting.
Oh, I wouldn't say that at all. I believe you went to the Parthenon yesterday, didn't you?
Well, I've been to the Parthenon so often in the last 2
Well, we
years,
went
I
today.
feel like I belong there. I'm one of the Elgin marble fragments. In fact, I feel about like
You're one of the freezers,
anyway,
huh?
I'm one of the fragments. In fact, I dug those catacombs out down there myself, ain't there?
Well, they don't look like
Speaking of catacombs, they don't look like much now, do they?
They are very nice looking catacombs under the Parthenon.
Aren't they?
Oh, they're very beautiful catacombs.
It's a wonderful
They do
thing.
not look as though you dug them with your own hands.
Well, I didn't actually dig them with my own hands, but I put in some groundwork there.
I don't doubt it.
Well, what do you do, old Parthenon? Do you
Enjoy it.
just enjoy it? Well, I thought possibly you had some job, you know, showing people around or something.
No, all I had was a job selling people on the idea that that hole in the ground was worth more than being a hole in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Mr. Cheek came in, and Mr. Alexander came in.
Well, tell me, that sounds like a good story. What happened?
Well, Nashville has a real art gallery.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I'm ashamed to say that I haven't.
Well, you must, because really it's one of the best steps that Nashville's taken culturally in the last 25 years.
Maybe I could engage you as my guide.
I think you could with very little trouble. Because the Hermitage and the Parthenon are two places I don't need much more than a ghost of an excuse to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you taken many people around there?
Oh no, I'm staying away from it now. The cat has swallowed the canary, so it's sitting back and licking its chops. And nobody knows about it much anyway. This is all secret. I shouldn't have been even talking about this.
Well, I won't tell anybody. Well, that's sort of...
Because I'm a thorn in the side of a lot of people with something like that when I believe in the idea.
Well, the more currency the thorn gets, the more work it'll do, wouldn't you say? I mean, the more people you jab, why, the better your results.
Well, that's the point. I mean, I still feel that there's something to the theory that a woman's power is behind the throne, not on it.
Well, now, there might be two schools of thought on that.
I mean, I could never have done that by myself. Mr. Alexander said he never would have thought of it by himself, and Mr. Cheek said that Mr. Alexander had given him the idea by coming to him and asking him to allow the National Museum of Art to do it. Not in the beautiful shape it's been done, the beautiful finish.
Well, tell me
But,
the history of that. What did Nashville have before this art gallery came into being? Just had nothing?
It had no gallery whatsoever.
Well, didn't they have
Regular gallery.
exhibits over at the Parthenon occasionally?
Occasionally, we've had exhibits over there for the past 3 years only. And then they've had about 3 exhibits in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The last
Barbara,
one was
you took me
1934.
there years ago in the park where we did not go today. There were some lovely pictures. Are they still there?
There was a small room down there for the Cowan collection, which was given to the city by Mr. Cowan. and for which that particular room was built.
Which Mr. County?
I don't know.
The room on the
sorry
front
that I
door,
don't.
I should say.
And that's, no, it's that little room as you go down the steps.
Yes.
And that's all that people thought was the Parthenon basement.
Yes.
But that was probably a fifth of the space that was down there. Completely unfinished, completely unused.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Cheek has finished it.
Which Mr. Cheek?
Newman Cheek.
Newman Cheek, all right. And which Mr. Alexander?
HB.
HB, okay.
So those are the Hans the Bull right there, you see. But it's all due to Mr. Cheek. I mean, he furnished the money,
But
and that's
you were
the
the
thing that put it
inspiration.
there.
You were the inspiration for the horns.
Well, I was awfully interested in the idea. I expect a lot of other people have been over a period of time. I mean, it takes a great many people thinking and believing in a thing like that to bring it to life.
Nashville has a permanent art gallery.
Nashville has a permanent art gallery and one of the best art galleries in the country.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Well, now,
To say nothing of one of the largest.
what sort of collection do they have? Is it predominantly of one man, or is it a cross-section of the old masters and the new ones, or what is the nature?
Actually, at the present time, is to sponsor traveling shows, group shows, and local shows in the small entrance gallery. But my personal hope is that ultimately that small entrance gallery will be used, because there's a tremendous amount of wall space in there. And there's an opportunity now to acquire a really good permanent collection of actually great paintings.
Now, where would the money come from for such acquisitions, or would you expect them to be donations?
Donations and contributions. And then there are a great many metropolitan gives indefinite permanent loans to qualified galleries. And the Crest collection is being broken up.
What collection?
Crest collection. Not broken up entirely, but
K-R-E-S-S?
K-R-E-S-S.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And the Parthenon was one of the first galleries, if not the first gallery, outside the New York, Philadelphia area where that collection was shown back in the early 30s. So that's what I hope. And that's what I hope.
They gave
A lot of
Western
people.
College, the Chris collection gave Western College 1 or 2 pictures.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Aunt Mary Carla, because Memphis has been given a number of pictures and then has been offered $5 million more worth of paintings from the Crest collection that they'll provide out of the
I've forgotten what
house.
they are, but there's some things from the Chris collection hung in Western College at Macon, Georgia.
And that's why the Parthenon should have some of those, I think. And I mean, I believe that ultimately constructive thinking. You know, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I'll keep right on thinking. But I believe that's the only answer.
Well,
They're
of course.
breaking it up because they want to separate the eggs. They don't want all the eggs in one basket. In case of attack, atomic attack, or bombing, they won't all be destroyed at once with their scallops.
You're laboring.
The fact that they fear bombing is making them willing to
That's one reason
distribute.
that they are.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, it is.
It's good.
But what it amuses me is this competition that you have in Nashville, the Grand Ole Opry. You know, Nashville is known for that all over the country.
Put your shoes on, Lucy.
Quite known.
The Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's been on the air for 27 continuous years.
Yes.
The longest radio program in
Hank should
existence.
be here tonight.
Well,
Hank's
I
been
wish
staying with me, you know, for the
Yeah, I
last
know it.
2 weeks. She ought to be here tonight to be on.
I wish she was. But she's going to be here a little while longer.
Oh, yeah, she'll be here until a week from Friday, a
Mhm.
week from tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow.
Now, Anne Mary Carla, I'm going to ask you some questions about genealogy. I'm not able to get all of these things.
Hank?
Maybe I won't have to answer them
I still want to
if
ask.
this lady's coming in.
I want to find out. Just, I think I know this, but I just want to be sure.
I hope I can answer it.
You are the aunt, the blood aunt of Eugene and Carl and Matthew.
Not the blood aunt.
Not the blood aunt.
The blood cousin and courtesy aunt.
Blood cousin and courtesy aunt.
My name is Mary Cullen White, and Carl Pilcher's, Eugene Matthews' mother was named Mary Cullen Carr.
I knew that.
We were first cousins and grew up as sisters, and I had no sister of my own. Therefore, when Mary had children, Mary Cullen Carr, Pilcher, had children, she taught them to call me Aunt Mary Cullen instead of Cousin Mary Cullen. And it's always been very sweet to me.
Well, it's like how
and so
calling me uncle.
You are my courtesy nephew.
That's right, and I'm very pleased.
The courtesy is a little further removed than in the case of Cobb and Eugene and Matthew.
We're still kissing kin, though.
Oh, certainly. And I think the relationship between one person and another is not settled by what you as a lawyer would say was my legal claim on them.
Well, how much of Mother's genealogy do you know?
You mean your mother Ford? You mean that the Pilcher Ford?
Yes,
Well,
I'm trying to establish the kinship of Buford Wilson, who died yesterday. You know he was a cousin of mine, or did you even know him?
Yes, I did know him.
Now his sister was Mrs. Baer, B-A-E-R, and she lived in Seattle. Her husband is a captain in the Navy, a retired captain. And I know they're kin, but what kin, I don't know.
No, you're beyond my depth.
Really? Well, I'm not surprised because they're second, third, or fourth cousin somewhere.
And they're on the Winston side, or aren't they?
Well, I don't know.
Well, anyway, they're not on the Cobb and Color side.
That's right.
And I come in on the Cobb and the Color side.
Well,
Ro, I tell you, I know how you can find out. I bet Captain Pilcher Avery did that.
bet you can too. Now you've seen my chart.
Yes, I have one.
Yeah, well.
You mean the ones that Catherine made?
Oh, mine is far more complete than that.
Well, I
think. But mine is all direct. Everybody on there is great-great-grandmother or grandfather. I have no...
Yours are true ancestors.
That's right. They're direct in every case, because on the chart that I have, it's fixed up that way. If I jumped off here and there for uncles and aunts and great-great-great-great-uncles, why, wouldn't have room. But in every case, and you know, my Aunt May Folk Webb, Mrs. James Avery Webb of New York, did you ever meet her?
She was your father's sister.
Well, she has compiled these genealogies for years, and she traced her ancestry and mine back to Caius Augustus or somebody in 343 AD. Now, how accurate it is, I don't know. There must be
lapses. Sorry.
It would be difficult to establish. But at any rate, she carries it back, and
when the tank comes, let us.
All right. Well, I'm gonna turn this off just for a second.
They could
She
only
didn't say
record your
anything that
shoes.
was particularly important.
If they could only record your shoes now.
Yes, if they could record your shoes.
By George,
Put your shoes on, Lucy. They came from Peru. You like them?
Yeah.
Yes, they look warm.
What kind of fur is that? Sheep?
Llama.
Oh,
I say llama because it's 2 L's.
Well, 2 L's is pronounced Y.
That's right.
in Spanish, isn't it?
If you want me to say anything on that, I'll be delighted. But I've got to go to bed because I'm so sleepy. I'm dying.
Well,
I have been visiting the Pilchers,
which Pilchers?
about whom you know a great deal. That's Boo Boo and Hal and Dudley.
Uh-huh.
All right. Boo Boo is my very good friend. She won't let anyone call her Boo Boo but me.
Uh-huh.
But it's my pet name for her because I've always said that anyone who thinks enough of a person always gives them a nickname.
Uh-huh.
All right?
Yes.
A pet name, as my grandmother used to call it.
Yes.
Well, other people call it nicknames. So I call Barbour Boo Boo because I love her very much. Well, Boo Boo is a night owl. You know, she's the kind that likes to talk all night.
Uh-huh.
Dudley
And she
Hal,
married into the proper family of
You're
night
right.
owls.
and Hal and Dudley are the kind, they set their alarm clock for 6:30 every morning. And even though there are 2 doors between us, that thing is really on double strength, shall we say.
Yeah.
And I will have the pillow over my head and the covers over my head, trying my best to pretend I don't hear it, you see. Well, I was here for 10 days, and all of a sudden I realized that those curtains, the silver curtains, which I've admired for many years, but I had a great feeling of, well, I don't know what it was exactly. I had a great respect for Barbara, but I didn't want to embarrass her by having her admit that the curtains were only just enough to cover the edge of the window.
Mm-hmm.
And every morning about 5 o'clock the sun would come up. And there I was thinking, oh dear, if I only could have something to cover those windows. Only yesterday I found that by pulling a little string, those little strips that fit inside the window actually pull too.
What?
And really cut out all that light that's been waking me up at 5 o'clock every morning.
That awful light.
Barbara said, Boo Boo said, that she would have been delighted to pull them too had I said anything about it. I was being very polite and nice, you know, what I would consider was a very considerate guest, and not mention the fact that the light was waking me up. And I pulled the blankets over my head, put the pillow over my head, and tried to sleep with the alarm clock going off.
Yeah.
So at this point, I am exactly about 24 3/4 hours behind.
That much?
That much. So I don't know what I can do. They say you can't
catch up.
On sleep. But each night I think this is the night.
And every night something
Every
happens.
night something happens. Well, I tell you something else I found out. For years I've hated apples. You like apples?
Yeah, I love that.
Well, do you like apples, son?
I learned to love them one day when I was seasick.
Well, hold on,
I've never eaten an apple before.
I don't like them because someone has been giving me the wrong kind of apple. They've given me these mellow...
Maybe you like doctors, and if you eat them, it keeps them
No,
away.
that wasn't the point. I thought of that too. I wondered if that was it. But they would always give me an apple that was mealy with this horrible taste of well, it had no character to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I came down here one night, and I thought, I'm hungry, and I don't know what it is. And I grabbed up an apple, and I bit into it, and it had a real crisp, sort of a bitey flavor. And I thought, this is the most wonderful apple. But she only had 2, you see. So I went to the grocery store the next day, and I said, I want an apple. I know what it looks like. And I also know what it tastes like. But I said, it tastes like, it was green, and yet it wasn't green, and it was bitey, and it wasn't sweet, but it was crisp, you see. So this girl, looked very dumb girl, but everything, she was very smart. I shall always like, I wish I knew who it was, said, York. So she said, we have York apples, and you know it was it?
Mm-hmm.
And from now on, and it took this long, and I'm not going to tell you how long, Ro. It took this long for me to find out that I am a York apple enthusiast.
Well.
They bite, they sound well.
Mm-hmm. They have a thump to them.
Well, a crunch.
Yeah.
Crispy, crunchy.
A crispy crunch. You taste them with salt, and it has a little, what do you call it? Tange, that's right, tange to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you see now, I've learned a great deal since I've been with the Pilchers.
Boo-boo.
I've also learned how to give
You've learned
shadow
that
away.
curtains can move.
I've learned that curtains can move further than the visual effect that they give, just hanging on either side of the window. And I thought, surely if the hostess of the house, the owner of a house, can make these curtains move together, and knowing that this silly girl who's visiting out here would like to sleep late in the morning, why she would pull them too. And I hated to embarrass her by thinking that she was too stingy to find enough curtains to go on. So here I was for 10 days worrying about those curtains, and it took little Dudley to enlighten me. So
You
now
never
I don't
know.
have no worry about the morning except for that alarm clock, and I have no way to forward to that.
Oh, you could put some stoppers in the ears.
Oh no. It's the fact that I'm looking for it now. I would be very disappointed and very, I don't know what it is. You know when you hear crickets at a certain time, am I right?
Well, I don't hear them. I don't hear anything after I go to sleep.
You don't?
Don't hear
Well, have
anything.
you ever spent the night upstairs by the alarm clock in the window?
I could do it. I could do it. If you would sleep.
You know, you'd think that I was complaining, but I've loved every minute of it. And the whole point about it is, at this point, knowing that I'm going to leave a week from Thursday, with, say, 3 days in between that I'm going to be away, I'm trying to find everything wrong with it I can, so when I get to Washington, it won't seem so horrible to be away, you see. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to find something wrong with Boo Boo so I won't miss her very much, you see.
You're going to have to stay much longer than that to find something wrong with us.
That's right.
Now, there's
Thank
your
you. I
lawyer.
think I should take
There's
that,
your lawyer.
don't you?
You mentioned looking forward to that alarm clock. You know the old story about the man that heard a shoe drop.
For the record, no.
And waited
It's on the record.
all night long for the other one to
It's
drop.
on the record,
It's
yeah.
on the record.
Oh, really? Sounds good now, Rose.
No, that
Now, come on.
That
let's
really
have a whole
happened.
story.
man was visiting in a home, and he was told, now downstairs is a friend of mine who's not very well, and when you come in, why don't make very much noise. Well, the upstairs friend came in and he pulled off his shoe and thumped his head. By George, you forgot about the other guy. So he took the other one off real quiet and he put it down. The next morning, the downstairs friend came in. He could hardly open his eyes, and he said, "Boy, this is terrible around here." He said, "Well, I just dropped one shoe." "One shoe," he said. "I stayed awake all night waiting for you to drop the other one."
You see? Now, I'm not the only one, Bob. Oh, dear. You know what I've just been? I've been out to see the rehearsal of the Old Red Mill.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to
How is it?
when I got to Jim Ruppert and Bob Booth, I decided if I was going tomorrow night, it was sort of foolish to sit there and watch it tonight. So I thought I'll just come home and go to sleep.
Is this an amateur performance?
Well, I guess you would practice as an amateur performance,
But there's some professionals in
well,
it.
I think they're professional caliber. I don't think they're professionals according to their business, but I think we have some talent in Nashville that's very comparable to
Have you
professional
worked
talent.
with
Do you know James
Yes, I
Boggs?
used to, but I have to.
I've heard, yes. What happened to Jean?
Has anything happened to her?
Where is she?
She sings at my church.
Well, I haven't seen or heard of her in a long time, but what, maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
I've got her on tape.
Actually, all my.
Oh, is that what you have on tape?
Well, she sang
Listen,
in
is that
church.
thing taking this thing off the whole time?
Yeah.
Well, dear Gusty, why didn't you tell me?
Being a mother.
I would have said something. Oh, I don't think I could have anyhow.
That's a full-time
I
job.
thought I would say something profound, but I don't think there's a thing in my whole vocabulary.
Why, I think you've been most profound.
I have not.
It is.
Oh, Rolly,
It's the.
did you find any more lyrics to the song?
No, I didn't. I came over tonight for
I get what I can
Admiral
get
Call.
done. yeah.
But this.
And
She's the most remarkable woman I know.
she is.
You know, last night when I first met her, she was talking, and all of a sudden I see her go out and get such nice questions. And usually people, you know, they just sit back and let people talk. But I was very much impressed with her keenness. And we're talking about you.
Who?
You. That's who.
I tell you, I can be oblivious at any moment.
Well, you weren't very oblivious last night, and that's what I was talking about.
I was almost asleep when I didn't know who we were talking about.
I'm
I think I better put both of you all to bed.
Well, you don't have to worry about me, honey. I am absolutely dead. And Ro, have I ever known you except through that letter?
Oh, I
I've
don't
known your
know.
whole family all my
Yeah.
life.
You
But
knew
I-
Judith, didn't you?
What, honey?
You knew.
Very well.
Mhm.
Loved it.
Oh, Hank,
What?
I told Frank Luton that you were going to
Get the
gather
match?
matches, and he was thrilled to death.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think we should give Roe a package, don't you?
One package. Go get
One
it.
package.
One get it.
One package. We can't give you any Aunt Mary because we'll let you look at them though, because you don't smoke.
These are these
Well, these are little
These are
matches
Hank's
that I had
matches.
made up for.
about cancer.
No.
The life you save
No.
may be your
Well, it's
own.
very sweet, and
Must be
I wish
bad.
I was as benevolent as you, but I'm not. And you see, in going through the country and doing my work with my music, why, so many of the newspaper people have been so very nice to me that I thought if I had something to give them at Christmas time that could make them sort of happy, at the same time remind them of a song I had written. So I have these little
Well, now,
matches made up.
please sing the song. And
Well,
then
it's
we
called
let
Save Your Confederate Money, Boys. The South will rise again. And
Go on,
so
go on.
begin again. I didn't quite get.
Save your Confederate money, boys. The South will rise again. See?
Play it.
Well, you haven't been in China, you wouldn't know anything about the
Come on, Hank.
Well, that's what you think. Aunt Mary
Confederate
knows more. Aunt Mary called
Confederate money.
Yes.
It's bringing, I tell you
Oh,
what
yeah.
it's doing, it's bringing 15 cents on the dollar.
No doubt.
It's going up every minute.
Some Confederate money is worth more
Well, now,
than the
this is
United
horrible.
States money of comparable denomination now.
Of course, you realize that I'm not even bored tonight. Well, Confederate, gold on 48, the way it should have been. Save your Confederate money, boys, thou shalt rise again. When those Yanks will open up their fangs and declare a dividend. Save your Confederate money, boys, thou shalt rise again. Now, let's let juleps, yes indeed, and within the cotton gin. And if at first we don't succeed, I say let's try it again. Now the boys are great parading down Broadway, on that you can depend. Save it, save it, save it, boys, that shall rise again. All the Yankee bands are playing Dixieland from Brooklyn to South Bend. Save your Confederate money, boys, thou shalt rise again. Velvet coats, silk hats, and pants with built-in spats on the Southern gentlemen. Save your Confederate money, boys, thou shalt rise again. Now I'm not just a joking son, that Southern star will shine from Shiloh to Shamokin Sun. That's where we'll draw that new line. You can pass the word that Robert Dean III is gonna run for president. Save your Confederate money, boys. Wave your Confederate money, boys. The South shall rise again. You're supposed to give a rebel yell at the end there. Now, I don't know if that was authentic. Often when I give that rebel yell, someone says, is that authentic? And if I say yes, then they look at me as if to say, well, were you there?
Were you there?
Were you there? And I don't know whether that's so smart.
Have you done this on the radio?
Yes, several times.
This, not with these shoes on.
Well, no, I
No,
think it
I
would be much
put our
better with the
shoes
shoes
on.
on.
That's not part of the costume.
I believe that if you not good with the shoes on, your national reputation would
As a
be
matter of
good.
fact,
I
these
think so,
shoes were
too,
brought to me
Aunt
by
Mary.
a friend from Peru. And they're the first shoes I've ever had that fit me fit my personality.
That's your personality.
I don't know exactly how to explain that.
Play, now go on and sing. Put your shoes on, Lucy. Hank wrote
No,
that.
Barbara, I don't want to sing it because I tell you why.
Why?
Because your first assignment with the writing club of the Centennial Club was that women of Tennessee do wear shoes.
No, not women, just Tennesseans do wear shoes.
Well, that's just supposed to be women.
Oh no, I'm going to bring in the coonskin caps too.
No, you're not.
Oh yes, I am.
Now let me tell you something. I was commissioned tonight to write a song for Ike.
All right.
All right. I said I would write the song for Ike, provided in the publicity they would say, everyone knows that Hank was for Kefauver, is still for Kefauver, but when we asked her to write a song for Ike, she agreed to do it.
How about a song for Stevenson, I Believe in Steve?
No. Can't do it because I haven't been
I don't
commissioned.
believe in Steve.
He's a wonderful guy.
Sing us something else then, if you won't sing about the shoes.
About the shoes?
Yeah, Fred.
What do you want?
Just a little
Shoes on.
Put your shoes on, Lucy, don't you know you in the city? Put your shoes on, Lucy, oh, it's really such a pity that Lucy can't go backwards wherever she goes, cause she loves to feel the wind of toes. Put your shoes on, Lucy, 30 heaven over the yard. You'll get by alright if you let them hear you talk. Always city slickers love that southern drawl, so give them that a honey child and you all. Lucy, that's the good things happen, Lucy. Won't you stop that yapping? How you act will be the death of me. Don't they have skyscrapers down in Tennessee for little shoes on, Lucy, even though they kind of pinch. Stop barking, you got this to walking, that's the cinch. Use your party manners. You need them in half with your shoes on, Lucy. You're a big girl now, oh, Lucy. You're such a lazy critter, you'd be a dandy babysitter. Every time you're walking down the street, you just sit on stop and just rest your feet. Put your shoes on, Lucy, even though they kind of pinch. Stop walking, you got this walking, that's the cinch. Use your party manners, you need them in half. Put your shoes on, Lucy, you're a big girl
Rose.
Turn it off, Rose, because in the first place, I got to go to sleep. I'm so sleepy, I'm dying.
All right, you want me turned off?
The first pieces here that I'm going to play will be a suite that I wrote back in school called Felis Domesticus. It means domestic cats. And the two movements here are Lost Kitten and the Dog and Siamese. Now, these are programmatic pieces. By that I mean that they describe, as I write them, certain things that are going on with these little feline creatures. The first one has to do with a kitten that we used to have in California that was forever getting lost out in the backyard in the weeds and the plants, and we could never find it. And so I decided maybe I would try to put myself into this little kitten's mind and write a piece of music and decide to describe what this little kitten was feeling. Now, that sounds rather amazing, and it sounds kind of loony, but you can do it if you try hard enough. He's lost, wandering around in the backyard. He doesn't know where he is. Very appealingly, oh, what will I do now? I'm completely lost. And he meows helplessly. Now, oh, whoa. Will I ever get out of this big maze of plants? And he finally starts to become resigned to his plight. And then he decides to play a little bit. He sort of becomes resigned, and then he sees something and bats at it with his paw. He bats at it again. And then he starts fooling around. And before you know it, he's playing. And he doesn't care anymore. And he says, what a beautiful day this is. Look at the way the dew glistens off of the leaves. Then he forgets that and starts playing around. And he gets a little carried away, and then here comes the theme again. Now he starts chasing his tail. And all of a sudden he finds himself lost again. What will I do now? Here comes the dog. And he meows. Wow, what a big dog this is. Oh, good Lord. Will I ever get out of this one? Goes up the tree. Later on that afternoon, he came down backwards. You know how they do with the claws. Very, very sadly down to the bottom of the tree. And then he finds himself lost again, and he meows. Okay, now,